How's everybody's day so far? Hopefully good. I'm in the McLean, Virginia office, and it's a little bit of a dreary fall day out there, but hopefully bringing a little bit of excitement to the day. Talking a little Social Security with everybody today. We will be having the Q&A open throughout the discussion today. So if you have questions or need me to expand on any of the specific topics that we're discussing today, feel free to jump in and leave some comments in there. We'll talk a little bit about Bogart Wealth, the firm as a whole today. If this is your first time joining us on one of our webinars, hey, welcome. Happy to have you here. And for those existing clients that are here, happy to see you and hopefully continue providing the support that you need. Today's discussion should probably last about 30 to 40 minutes, I suppose, just based off of different questions and things that we have. We'll spend a good chunk of it talking more so about Social Security and what we can do and what we can't do with it. Before we get started, like I said, we want to talk a little bit about Bogart Wealth, the firm that I support here and I work for. We are a registered investment advisory firm located here in McLean, Virginia. That's where the majority of our staff is. But we also have different local presences throughout the country, mainly in the Houston and Texas area. And so if you're joining us from down there, hope you guys are well and hope you guys are enjoying the warm temperatures. We're starting to see fall there where you guys haven't gotten it just yet. But as a registered investment advisory firm, we operate as a fiduciary to all of our clients and acting in their best interests alone, transparent on fees and pricing. We only generate revenue from what our clients pay us as management cost for managing assets. We don't sell products and don't take fees from other third parties. About $3 billion in assets. And to me, what's the most important number is that to households, right? About 1,300 and growing households across the country look to us as their lead wealth manager. The executive team is currently led by is this moving? Is this okay? Because I'm seeing it on two different. Okay, good. So the executive team led by our founder and CEO, James Bogart. A firm is growing, adding more to the leadership staff is allowing us to work on executing our core mission of generating international wealth for our clients. Our advisory team, if you've seen me talk about this before, I consistently say it. It's a deep bench. It's individuals that have the certified financial planning designation, which I firmly believe that's the gold standard in any advisor relationship that you want. It's just the credentials, the commitment, the experience that they have, and putting clients first. CFPs have to operate as a fiduciary, and one of the things I'm really proud of working in such a great team here is that across the board, we have just a great group of advisors that can help support many different types of needs. Certainly the support people behind us that make us look good, Nick, Austin, Chaz, Victoria, our associates that really help add to that client experience. And if this is your first time learning about the firm, again, our core mission is to help provide financial peace of mind, maximize and preserve intergenerational wealth. But we execute that not just through ourselves as advisors, but the team. And it is a very diverse team. We're approaching 60 employees as a firm. So that's just grown leaps and bounds over the last several years. And so everything we do, a lot of what we do is in-house. Alex Spencer leads our portfolio management team. And it's across the board, whether it's the portfolio management team and the day-to-day operations of how the firm is functioning, led by Valerie and our client services team, and Sandra runs just a fantastic financial planning team. As we talk about things like Social Security, right? Her and her department is really integral to say, this is exactly what we should do and why. Here are the numbers that support how Social Security is going to fit into not only your financial plan, cash flow plan, but also your tax strategy. Because as you may or may not know, Social Security's got a little bit different in taxation. So certainly her team is very important. And then just another, rounding out great staff on the HR side of things. HR makes me say that. They're wonderful people, and we all love making sure HR is happy with all of us. Headquarters down in McLean, that's where I am. And different offices in the Woodlands. All right. So that tells you a little bit about the firm. We're great. We're awesome. We do really good work. I really enjoy working here, and the product and the value add that we can bring to everybody. We're going to talk Social Security today, but that's not the only topic that we are helping the mass population gain more education on. And then if you need a deeper dive, that's where we're here to help. But our retirement readiness series is available right now. BogartWealth.com, taking a look at all of the different webinars that we've had that relate to the tax law. That's one of the biggest ones that we've seen a lot of clients logging in on, is that we have a new tax law and how does it impact certain things, right? And how can it impact Social Security, and what we should be thinking about. We'll talk a little bit today about it, but deeper dive into that we can always help with. It's not just the webinars that are available, podcast, take us to go, listening to us in the car, get more understanding of your situation, how we may be able to help out. All right. So no questions so far. I think we're doing good. Shesh, what do you think? Shesh is my man here that's making me look really good here. Hopefully he's making me look pretty good. I don't know if the lighting in here is it good? Good. Thank you. All right. At least someone agrees. So Social Security, we'll talk about what is Social Security, how you become eligible, what are the benefits. I think that's, for a lot of us might be elementary knowledge. So we'll skim through some of that, but spend most of the time of talking about when and how. A lot of people are on Social Security or receiving some sort of Social Security benefits. It's estimated that about 73.6 million people in the United States are receiving Social Security benefits. And so that's paid into from individuals paying into taxes, and then the Treasury then pays out those monies based off if they're retired or disabled. That's written on a napkin. I don't. When I'm at a restaurant and writing on a napkin, it's me and my kids playing tic-tac-toe. It is not talking about Social Security. But whoever designed this, good job. So how do we become eligible for Social Security? It's you have to be a covered worker, and you have to work. We'll talk about this, a certain amount of quarters in order to become eligible. This is going over who are not eligible. Railroad employees, they are eligible for Medicare, but they're not eligible for Social Security. Americans working abroad, if you work for a parent that's not covered by Social Security, tribal councils, and then if you work for a state or local government, this. You may not be eligible because you have a different retirement plan that meets good, sufficient federal guidelines. I thought did we have a slide here that talked about the 10-year? Yeah, maybe that got taken out. But anyways, to become eligible for Social Security, you have to have 40 quarters of working. And so that quarter is 3 months of active full-time work, and it's 40 of those quarters. So basically 10 years. 10 years worth of work in order to gain eligibility to get that full Social Security benefits. That doesn't necessarily mean that you as the individual have to be the one that's working in order to get benefits. As we'll talk about, there are other benefits for spousal benefits that are available for divorced individuals, widowers that maybe don't have those types of quarters. They may be eligible to receive Social Security benefits. And in addition to that, you'll get children. So depending upon the age of the parent and their Social Security benefits, if you have a child that's under the age of 18, they also may be eligible for some benefits as well. So the updates with Social Security, we have just recently seen some updates, and I mean they've been good ones, right? So if you've known anyone that is a teacher, firefighter, someone that was part of the old CSRS federal retirement system, they've seen some increases as of late. So there was a Social Security Fairness Act Congress passed early this year, and it repealed what really was, eliminating some benefits from those, public workers. But there were the repeal of the windfall elimination provision and the government pension offset basically removed those restrictions, and so now those workers are entitled to more full benefits. So certainly, if you've seen that, excellent, really good thing for you. And we talked about the credits. Yeah, here we go. So the 40 credits, 10 years worth of work to be eligible. You pay into it, right? So as you're working, you're paying into Social Security. And there's a tax that you're assessed on the first $176,000 of your earnings for the year. That number goes up with inflation, right? So next year, that number is going to go up. It has been slightly going up every single year. And so up to that 176,000, you'll see that total that goes in is about into Social Security about 12.4. That's split between you and your employer. And then there's Medicare taxes as well, 2.9% total. And you're paying about 7.7% between you, what you're putting into Social Security and what you're putting into Medicare. So you're certainly paying into it. And to get your full benefits, you just need to make sure that you're working for at least 10 years. And then you'll get the eligible benefits for Social Security. Okay. Workers' benefits. We'll talk a little bit about benefits are calculated. So I'm looking at exactly what am I going to be paid? If I'm paying into this, what am I expecting to receive in the future? Well, it's based on a number that they call the PIA, and that's what's called your primary insurance amount. When you look at your Social Security statements, which I don't think that they send those things anymore. I used to get them, in the mail or so. You got to go online now, socialsecurity.gov, in order to pull that statement. It's pretty easy though. I will tell you, a lot of clients of mine, even those that are not the most technically savvy, they try to make it easy. And if they don't, I have a friend that works for the administration on that side of the fence. I will make sure to tell Evan to update the website to make it a little bit easier for you guys. A little inside help there. But socialsecurity.gov, you can always look and estimate and see what your benefits are. But that PIA amount, that's going to be the amount of what your full retirement benefit is. So as we talk about the different strategies that you can take with Social Security, that's whether you're going to get a reduced benefit or a increase in benefit, it's going to be based off that number. And that number may adjust over time based off inflation. So Social Security benefits do have a increase to it on an annual basis with inflationary adjustments, and that's based off of the CPI index for urban wage earners. Last year was 2.5%. The year before was like 7% because this inflation was going gangbusters. When does that full PIA amount kick in? For the majority of us, it's going to be 67. For those that are looking at taking Social Security for the first time, age 67 for a lot of us. And that's for those that are born in 1960 or later. You can see that on this sheet here based off of the year that you're born. Then you have that PIA amount, or the full retirement amount that you could get, is going to be based off of anywhere between 66 and 67. But for a lot of us born after 1960, it's going to be the age of 67. But that's not just the time that you have to take it. You could take Social Security earlier. I mean, you could take it as early as the age of 62. Age 62, you could take it. So 5 years sooner. But by doing it, because it's an annuity, is what we're talking about. And so because you're taking it earlier, they're going to pay you a reduced benefit. And so you can see here, based off of when you decide to take it early, you're going to get a reduced benefit. So at 67, this individual here is supposed to get $3,000. They want to take it at 62. They're going to get 70% of that PIA amount, or $2,100. So they're going to take a $900 hit because they want to take it early. So it can be a product of, in your plan, where does this cash flow fit in and what's the benefits? I'll tell you from experience, I've seen benefits on the tax side for some individuals to consider taking it early because, as we'll talk about, Social Security is not taxable. So up to 80, only 15% of it's not taxable. 85% is going to be taxable. So that could play into their cash flow plan, can play into their tax planning. So all unique stuff of why an individual may want to take it. But for simplicity's sake, I'm going to take it early. I'm going to get a reduced benefit. You can delay it. And what's a nice thing about this is, like, my compliance team, they would say, Brian, you said 8%, increase, basically guarantee, that's setting off red lights here. And if I ever said that to a client that the market's going to do that, yeah, that should signal some red lights. But here, that's what Social Security does. There's that 8% pay increase the more you delay. So if I don't, again, it's an annuity. If I don't take it at 67, I say, well, pay me at 68. Well, because they didn't pay me for that year, there's a delayed credit. And so that's factored into more guaranteed income. So in this case, it's an 8% pay increase or 108% or $3,000 or $240 increase. That goes up till 70. That goes up till 70. And it goes up to 70. And after that, there's no delayed benefits. That's the absolute max. So it behooves you to delay it anymore. Anonymous attendee is my favorite attendee that comes in. I get the best questions from anonymous attendee. Once you start taking it early, does the reduced benefit stay the same or go up as you get closer to full retirement age? Good question. Like, hey, if I take it now, I'm getting the lower amount. Once I turn 63, do I get a pay increase? Then do I get a pay increase at 64? The answer is no. Because you've basically annuitized Social Security at that time. You've started that pension, you've started that annuity. That's locked in. The only way we're going to see that increase is going to be through inflation, or if you're eligible for another type of benefit that's higher than your own, say like a spousal benefit. I've seen individuals take husband and wife, for instance, say, you know what, we're not going to do the husband made more. Wife made more. She crushed it. She made a ton of money. Husband worked as a teacher, did well. And, she had the highest salary, but he turned 62. They're both retired. He takes Social Security now at a reduced benefit. But once the wife takes her full Social Security or delayed it, he'll then be eligible for his spousal benefit, which we'll talk about. It's 50% of what the wife gets. So then he'll get some now, but they're going to boost later. So it depends on situations. All right. Hope that answers anonymous attendee's question. Let me know if I can expand on that. All right. So why would we, what's this, benefits while continuing to work? Oh yeah, obviously. Yeah. The more we work, the more we pay into it, can increase the amount of Social Security benefits that we get. One of the other downsides of this, and I've had a couple clients, this was earlier in my career, that I saw kind of get bit by this, not because of me, but just doing this on their own, is that they decide that, hey, I'm still working, but you know what? I can get this benefit now via Social Security, just, kind of get this extra money, and I'm going to save it, or I'm going to invest it, or I'm going to pay off some debts. Okay, sounds good. But if you're still getting income, and you're taking this Social Security early, like before that PIA year, which is anywhere between 66 or 67, if I'm still getting waged income, I'm going to get money taken back. There's only so much money you can take before Social Security saying, like, no, you're fine. You have a wage, and so therefore we're penalizing you because you're making too much money. And so you can see that. I mean, look at the bottom one. In the year you reach full retirement age, $1 benefits if reduced for every $3 you earn over the limit. And that limit is $62,000. So, I mean, it's just, they really get you if you want to sort of double dip before retirement. There is disability benefits. It's a pretty long process. If you've been through this process on your own or known anyone that's going through applying for Social Security disability, wow, that is, it's a long process. And a lot of times I've seen, individuals have to get denied several times before finally getting approved. So if you're going through that process, keep at it and work with your general practitioner to keep applying. But there's two different types of Social Security benefits here for disability. There's the disability insurance and then the supplemental. The worker is entitled to disability benefits if they are under 65 and they've been disabled for at least 12 months and are expected to be disabled for at least 12 more months. There's a very strict definition of disability. Yeah. And that's why it's so hard to get covered for. You'll get Medicare coverage automatically if you've been on disability for at least 2 years. And then again, depending on your family system and your family dynamic, you might have your spouse and certain things eligible for those benefits as well if they're 62 or older. Okay, no other questions coming in. So spousal benefits. I mentioned a little bit, maybe too fast on some strategies on spousal benefits versus your own. But at the primary core of what spousal benefits are is that as a spouse, regardless if I have earned wage history throughout my lifetime, if I've been married to a worker, then I would be entitled to 50% of their primary insurance amount, full retirement age amount. So whatever your spouse's age for most people that, let's just say they're both born after 1960 and everyone's primary insurance amount is 67. That primary insurance amount, that X dollars, that spouse is always going to be entitled to 50% of that. Okay. At their own full retirement age. Now they could start taking it as soon as 62, but at a reduced benefit. So much, much lower than what would be anticipated. So, one strategy to be thinking about is that, well, again, it depends on who the higher income earner is and whether we need some income now. How's it relay into my tax plan? Because again, Social Security is, we're talking about it, some of it's going to be taxable, some of it's not. But do we think about a strategy where we claim on our own accord now while we delay until our spousal benefits kick in because they're expected to be higher? So they're always going to pay the higher of the two, but sort of you can't, you can kind of work the system a little bit to your favor as much as you can work Social Security. There's a lot of other fun things you used to be able to do back in the day. I'm aging myself, but 2015, they made a lot of changes to a lot of the different things that you could do that you just can't do anymore. Same-sex couples in all states are recognized for Social Security benefits. So if there's any questions there, nothing different that has to be planned for. So we talked about spousal benefits, divorce spousal benefits. So if you are divorced from an individual and you were married to them for at least 10 years, then you may be entitled to spousal benefits. Both of you have to be over the age of at least 62 in order to receive benefits. If I'm going to receive benefits as a divorced spouse, I have to be unmarried. I have to make sure that we were divorced for at least 2 years. If my ex-spouse hasn't applied for benefits, so let's just say I'm divorced, and my spouse who had the higher income years, I was working at home or just didn't have a high paying job. And my spouse was the one that really brought it in, was supposed to have the highest Social Security. But they're 65 and they haven't applied for it yet. We've been divorced for more than 2 years and I'm 63, I'm 64, whatever it is. I could apply for spousal benefits. I don't need my spouse to be 67, or I don't need my spouse to file for Social Security benefits in order for me to be able to get those assets. Now, if it's less than 2 years, then yes, you do have to have that spouse file for their benefits in order to be eligible. But that 2-year waiting mark is really the number to be out for. Survivor benefits. Yeah, so certain family members may qualify for benefits. If you are an insured worker, surviving spouse can be eligible for your benefits as early as 60. They may get benefits, your full benefits at full retirement age if they were just like as you were, but at their full retirement age. And so, and at the age of 50, if they have a disability. So I always think about my grandparents. I think about Eugene and Helen, where they both were collecting Social Security. My grandfather, Eugene, was a pharmacist, a little bit more of the breadwinner than my grandmother. And so they both were collecting and just solely living off of Social Security. And when he passed in 2011, her Social Security went away because his was the higher of the benefit. So she then switched to what's called a survivor benefit. And now she sort of lost her own personal benefit because the survivor benefit was higher. So something to be thinking about too, as we start planning for which spouse is considering taking Social Security and when, is those survivor benefits carry over. That's really impactful for those that are thinking about how and when to take Social Security. If you delay, remember we talked about delaying past up to the age of 70. That's that 8% increase year over year. If that happens and then that spouse that passes away, the one that had that delayed benefit, the surviving spouse receives that. Again, assuming that they're of eligible age, but they would still just receive that amount. So delaying has a technique where it just doesn't benefit that individual person, but truly the family, the couple, the husband and wife, because it ensures that spouse would also receive that higher amount for life. So some ideas there to think about delaying and how it relates to survivor benefits. Taxation of Social Security benefits. Yeah, I mean, one thing to note that was promised on the campaign trail was no taxes on Social Security. We're going to get rid of that. That has not happened. Taxes on Social Security are the same this year as they were last year. And with the new tax bill, it's going to be the same next year. Meaning for the majority of us that if we file married jointly over $44,000 of income a year, let's face it, that's the majority of a lot of our clients, 85% of that money is going to be taxable. Now, 15% is not. Now that's where I get into some of the technicals. That 15% is not, so it can play into your plan about taking it now versus later. You just need income less than 32 grand if you want to have no taxes to Social Security. But yeah, most of us, 85% is taxable. It was up to 50% in, I think, the 93, 94, and then the Clinton administration raised it to up to 85% taxable. Now, what has happened in the new tax bill, we're talking here in September of 2025, there is, they didn't get the removal of taxation on Social Security, but how they tried to pivot that is the enhanced senior deduction. And if you're not familiar with what the enhanced senior deduction is, really what that is if you are married filing jointly and you have income less than $150,000, whether you do the standard deduction or whether you itemize on your taxes, you're entitled to an additional $6,000 per person, so $12,000 for a husband and wife, off of their taxes. Now that's a deduction for those that make less than $150,000, and then it sunsets up to $250,000. If you're a single filer, it's $75,000 and sunsets at $175,000. So that was their way of trying to, get around that. Now that's for everyone 65 and older. That's not if you have Social Security or not. Again, that's just for anyone 65 and older. That's going away though. That's only for 4 years. That's 25, 26, 27, and 28. And then that's supposed to go away. Maybe Congress does something with that. We'll have to wait and see. Whew, a lot of talking, a lot of fast. I get excited. Social Security guys, they asked me, Jung was sick. Would you do it? I said, I love talking Social Security. Let's do it. You can apply up to 4 months before when you want benefits to start. So for a lot of us, say it's 67 is our birthday, and that's mine's in June. So then I'd want to apply 4 months prior. And then the way it works is that if I'm supposed to receive the benefits in June, it's paid the following month. So my June benefits are paid in July. So if you are applying, just know 4 months ahead of time, you're not going to receive it the month of the date that you're applying for, but the benefit date, the payable date will be the month after. You can withdraw your application. Yeah, you have to 12 months. They do sort of give you a get out of jail card if you want. You just got to pay them back anything that you received. I've never seen that happen. I mean, maybe if you made a bad decision, you come to Brian or Bogart Wealth and say, "Hey, what do we do?" I could see that, but yeah, maybe if you're joining us, let us know. When should you start collecting? I mean, talk with your advisor first. If you don't have one, talk to us. Income needs, health status, marital, employment status. For a lot of us, it's income needs. When to think about it. A lot of our clients look at how the Social Security fits into their tax plan. That's really at a lot of the core of what we do. And Social Security is still taxable. Yes, some of it's tax-free. And if you're living off a lot of tax-deferred assets, yeah, maybe that makes sense to have some income that's non-taxable. But for a lot of our clients, living off of non-taxable monies today keeps their tax rate low to help a lot of different things we can do with tax planning. Adding Social Security in there can really sort of derail some of that opportunities. Now, if you need it based off income needs, then absolutely. But just so many factors. But that's where we come in. We help you see through the forest here and really give you the idea of what's best for you and your family. That's a quick snapshot of what our analysis looks like, heat map, if you will, of the most opportune time. And you do get a recommendation on when the opportune time to take Social Security is. I'm surprised I haven't seen this come into the chat, but usually we get the question about, is it going to be there for me? And that's, legitimately viable concerns to have, because as you'll see here, it is projected that Social Security benefits are going to be able to be paid in full through 2033. And at which point, unless changes happen, they're going to start reducing benefits. And so that's one of the biggest questions on a lot of our minds is what's that mean for us? Should I take it now because it's not going to be there? One of the things I'll say to that is that we've been here before, and really what Congress has done is just change legislation. And what they've done in the past is they've expanded the maximum earnings that's taxable. So instead of going to only taxable to the average, the median wage, they went up to 250% of the median wage. So right now that's $167,000, and they increase that every single year. They increase payroll taxes. They increase the retirement year. Think about it. This was passed after World War II, and this was old age insurance, right? And so this was part of the New Deal. FDR had this set up that, hey, you're 65, you've outlived the majority of people, so you deserve an old age insurance. This was never meant to be some sort of supplemental pension program, but that's what it's turned out to be, and that's now basically the responsibility of Congress to make sure that keeps going. So I bring this up because while there's funding gaps and issues, what's going to happen is what's happened before. They're going to make changes to what they tax. 167 is currently the number, 250% of median wage. That's going to increase. Would I envision myself, 42 years of age, to say that, hey, when I'm 67, that's going to be my full retirement age? I don't believe so. I'm still planning for it because that's what's known right now. I'm not going to guess it, but just sort of my hunch is that 67 is going to be pushed to 70 or 71 just because we're living longer. And that delay till 70, hey, that might be delayed from 73 up to, say, 75. Look at the numbers there. And if you do, The Economist had a great article about this years ago. It really solves a lot of the funding gaps for a long, long period of time. So plan for it now. I would say I don't plan for clients to do anything different. This is some of the things that they could do: increase retirement age, change benefit formation, increase tax base, so on and so forth. How can Social Security help you? They can help you with the estimates, and they can tell you basically, you can get some money now. They can't tell you if it's opportunistic. They can't tell you, hey, looking at all of the different scenarios and tax planning, when you should take it. So that's where you need to have, a certified financial planner that has access to a wide range of planning software that can help you, really find out the best decision for you and your family. File and suspend was eliminated in 2015. That was the fun stuff, guys. If you had family members that had this, that was really cool. You could do some filing and suspending. That was a neat way to sort of game the system, but they got on to us, and they no longer allow that to do, fun things. So just a couple other things to note there. If you are looking at an advisor to think about how to help you with this, certified financial planner, knows your plan, knows the rules, been around the block before and can help in a way that you really understand. Bogart Wealth's here for the financial strategy sessions. Let us know if we can help. We're happy to put these things together for you. And as our way of saying thank you for joining us today, let us know how we can help. We're available: Zoom, phone calls, in person, in Virginia or in Texas. Happy to help. Keeping the Q&A open for the next few minutes. If anyone's got any questions, comments, let me know. Is there a family max or limit amount of benefits? Yeah, there is a family maximum. I don't have it here. I'll get back to you on that, on what the exact amount is, but there's a certain benefit maximum for those that are receiving benefits. And that comes back to a lot of times if you have children under the age of 18 and you're receiving a benefit, a couple clients of mine, anonymous attending might be a client of mine, but there is a certain number that you can go into as a household based off of what you, your spouse, and children are getting. I don't know off the top of my head, but I can find out for you. We're going to get one. We're going to get a really good question coming in. It's going to happen. And maybe not. Still have people holding steady. We'll see if that drops off. If we get some people dropping off, then I'll end the Zoom. It's a good day. It's a good day. All right. Thanks for joining, everybody. I see people drop off. Enjoy yourselves. Be well. Talk to you soon.